in a space of a month, they said, "Oh, 2 to 3 times," and she goes,
A month
"So in a month, 2 to 3 times, right? That they
being
were
intimate.
intimate. Yes, 2 to 3 times they were intimate with their husbands."
How
She
old
goes,
were they?
"What was that?"
How old were they? Like they're like
So
in their
she was
seventies or
no, these were just women who were married. These were just women who were married,
oh,
And so she basically did this whole little poll thing, and she said most of these women were intimate with their husbands between 4 to 8 times
three to
in
four
the space
times
of a
a
month.
month, a week, a month.
Okay, in a month, and she goes, if you look at that, and you say 30 days in a month, right? And you look at what that percentage is, that is a F. That means you have a failing grade in your marriage if you're not into. So like, and I'm just saying that's a failing grade in
Like an
relationship.
overachiever.
Well, no, that's an underachiever if
I
you
mean,
have.
no, according my, like it makes me feel like an overachiever because I'm
Well,
just saying that if you're having
I'm
sex three or
saying,
four times a month versus a week, that's two different things.
hey, well, I mean, shit.
Um,
There's a lot of benefits to it. That's what there's a lot of
well,
benefits
health benefits.
scientifically. Yeah. So I kind of laugh at it when I saw that, and I was just like, damn. I was like, there's a lot
Will
of
men
women who
turn
got
down
that.
anything? I mean, I'm just saying. There's,
Hey,
I
wait.
don't
You
know.
can't go that route because you can't say if men
I'm just
turn down anything. Men are not at liberty to just turn free shit down like that. Let's be honest. Women are at liberty to turn shit down. 'Cause women could go out
why.
there. Okay, here's my thing. Okay, how hard is it for a man to actually attract?
Got a question I can't answer. I don't know how hard it is for me.
Uh, It is very hard for a man to attract a woman. It is very hard for a man to attract a woman. As a woman,
You do what?
it
I'm
is
sorry.
easier.
I,
It is very hard for a man to attract a woman.
okay. Why do you say that?
A woman has it more easier than a man to attract. A woman can attract a man.
Based on what? What she's wearing or how she looks?
Yes, a woman can go
Okay,
out
you got you like. I
there.
mean, if you're being shallow when you're looking at a girl and she's blonde
I,
and she,
I
she's a
am not
size
being shallow.
five.
I am being honest. I am being honest. Straight, factual, honest. Right. Most women could walk out and get a man in any direction. Any man. Most women can't. If 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 that's not true, right? Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Men have
Okay,
to
so
go.
I'm gonna go out tonight and see how many men I can pick up.
Oh, trust me, you can pick up a lot of men. Men don't even. Men be like, oh
Yeah,
yeah, sure. Men have
yeah.
it harder. We can't just go pick up. It's like this. We go out, right? As a man, you go out and you're like, okay, I'm looking for a woman that I want to talk to or whatever. She got her girlfriends around her, right? If she's got her girlfriends around her, what happens? Oh, yeah, you got to buy us drinks if we're in the bar. We got to buy them and the girlfriend the drinks, right? Then you turn around, and then what happens? Yep, you're not having that. You're not going home with him.
I've
Nope,
never
he
met a
ain't.
man in a bar, so
I have.
I give a
I
vote.
met women in a bar.
Wait, did you just? I thought
See?
you were about to say you met a. I thought you were about to say you met a man in the
No,
bar.
I met women in a bar, and that succeeded well for me. Blazing, you know what I'm talking about. That succeeded
Oh
very
yeah,
well
I
for me.
know. Yeah,
But as B
called
said,
me the next day. Was like,
next day I was exhausted. I didn't want to do shit. But like B was saying, it can also go the same route. Women don't have it as well because there are some women that could go to a bar and people can come buy them drinks. But there's also those other people that go out to a bar and no one will come up to them. And no, it's
I
not
don't
because
want
they're built like a Brock blazing. Fuck you.
oh, build like a Brock.
Fuck you.
I'm just saying.
Oh, shots fired.
No. I have a feeling he's
No,
gonna
but
clip my voice one day and make it. It's a Brock. It's a Brock. Just
but
for
no,
his button.
under reality is like it's not just that though, but like I do think there's a lot of women who have it easier than men do, as far as like
Entitled to your opinion.
in that. No, but that, I mean, I'm entitled my opinion, but there are a lot of women who have it hard too.
Peaches, thank you for
I'm
the
not saying
follow.
but
Appreciate it.
How many men go
what
to the
I mean,
bar? Women go to the bar by themselves. If they're going to the bar, they
mm,
want to get picked up. If they're alone, they want to get picked up.
Yeah.
yeah, but there's a lot of women who go to the bar with their girlfriends because they have an
Well,
ugly
I
girlfriend.
understand that, but that's you're not going to get picked up if you're going with your girlfriend.
Oh yeah,
You're
they
going
are.
out to have fun with your girl. I'm just
Prove me wrong.
saying.
Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong in Vegas.
Prove me wrong in
Prove me
Vegas.
wrong. Prove me wrong in Vegas.
Enough. Everything that happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, so that don't even count. That's not.
Oh
That's
shit!
what.
It ends up on YouTube. It ends up on
That's not
YouTube
even the
or on the.
same situation. Yeah, that doesn't count. Vegas. Yes, I have walked out of. You're right. I have walked out of the bar with my sisters and my mom. We've walked out of bars with guys and started walking the streets. I mean, yes, all of us, but it was. You're right. There's been times
Thank
when,
you. Thank
but there
you.
was no
Thank
sex
you. And
involved.
no,
It
no,
was
no. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
conversation.
Hold on. But you guys weren't even looking, right?
No, it's just that the bar was closing and we
Exactly
still
my
wanted
point.
alcohol and we just started walking down the street. My mom
No,
thought she had to go
exactly.
along because we don't want no one to
Exactly
do nothing. So
my point is, you guys have it a lot easier. Who's got to do the approaching? We do as the men. That was my point. Exactly right there.
I
You
mean,
rest my
unless you're
case.
me, then you get the women
we
to do
were
it.
sitting no, because we were sitting next to the table and so we were just having conversation. So you know how you're sitting at a bar and somebody says something and you just start having a conversation. You don't really intend to, but it is what it is. When you bring your mom to the bar with you, what do you expect?
Dude, look,
Hey, it was for
I
my
see your.
birthday. We went to Vegas
Oh,
for my
okay,
birthday.
first of all, I've seen your mom. Your mom's a hottie. All
Means I got good genes then, right? Woo woo.
right. So I'm just saying, it's kind of crazy. But like the sad thing is, if you bring your mom, well, I'm not even gonna repeal this, but this is why I don't go anywhere with my mother. Okay, my
I've
mother,
met your mother. Your mother,
yeah,
that's a
I was
different story.
no, but like my mother is like, it's funny because like I was in high school, I would like go out with my mom, right? Like those places or whatever. And so like people would see me and go, "Is that your girlfriend?" And you know what my mother would do? My mother would reach over and kiss me on the cheek and then hug me. And I'd be like, that's my mom. Like, that's my mom. Like, and she would just joke around like that. I was like, yo, that's my mom. Like, when your mom, the bad it's like a psychological, it does a little psychological damage to you when your mom is that hot to go anywhere with your mom. Because
what I
like
what
your
I
friends
find
are like,
funny is anytime me and Tyler will be playing a game and I go, "What you playing?" He'll go, "Your mom," and I'm like, "You know my mom. You say my mom and me look just alike. If I had the long hair too, you and no beard, you would say you'd mistake me for her. So try again, motherfucker." And he goes, "True, true." So I don't have to worry about that. And people always ask, like, "Are you afraid your best friend's gonna scream?" No, why not? And I tell them that reason, and they go, "There's no way." And then I show a picture of her and show a picture of me with my long hair, and they go,
yeah.
"Yeah, never mind." I'm like, "Yeah." So
So you got so what you trying to tell me is like drag queen is in your future if anything doesn't work out.
yes, at this point, I'm just gonna keep the jokes coming in. Fuck it, I don't care no more.
Is that
Oh
Mario?
shit.
Is that Mario?
You need to get to the
Wow.
ba-da-ba-da-da-da-da.
I probably will. Shoot, I got
Oh.
so many different sound effects that I can do. It's even crazier shit. But yeah, I got a good one. Like, would you like really and truly? Would you sleep with somebody at your job to get promoted?
Our current jobs or any jobs?
Any job, like any job. Like, would you sleep with
No.
if you went on a job interview and let's say you met that person previously or whatnot, and you had the ability to sleep with that individual to get the job or to get a position to be promoted, would you sleep with that person?
No.
No.
That already. If they're asking me to have sex with them for something like that, you already know they're asleep. Well, and it
Right.
ain't gonna get any better after the fact. Let's just put it that way. They got something to hold over you. That's no. I wouldn't. Now I've been with my boss. I have already worked someplace, and later on I had sex with the boss, but that's it wasn't for any promotion.
So you weren't working there after that was after you were working there, right? So
No,
you were
no,
no
no, 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 Dave. I was already working. He was already had whatever.
Oh, so you were working there. Oh
I
shit.
was already working there. I worked there for I didn't really start talking to him. I've been there for like 10, 11 months. He told me later, he goes, the first 9 months, I didn't even think you liked me. So, like, I'm just doing a job, dude. It's not like it's that. But then, yeah. Then he was like messing with all the females in the office. And I thought, what the hell's wrong with me? So,
I've had
Oh, so
one
what you're saying is
boss.
wait. So let me get this straight. So what you're saying is you jumped on the bandwagon.
oh, I was
Hey, that's
stupid.
what I heard. That's what I'm hearing.
No, the
I heard you jumped
bandwagon
on the
started
bandwagon.
after her.
No, everybody was first with me. Actually, the lunch vacation, like that job I had, we like they did annual trips for people that had done well, and like this was before I had got chose to go on the annual trip, and we went to Jamaica. And at the time, the woman that he at one of the salespeople, he was dating her per se, and she was going on the trip. But at the time, by the time we were actually going on the trip, he wasn't even didn't want nothing to do with her. So he was like avoiding her the whole trip.
Damn.
I had
So
one.
next year might have got me on the cruise. I don't know. We did a 7 day cruise, so that might have helped me get on the cruise. But I didn't go. I mean, I had someone else go with me, so it wasn't like that was the case.
Shit.
I had one boss. She wasn't a boss. She was basically a step higher than me. Blazing. She was like a position like one above me. She wasn't like a boss. Uh, we were outside, and this was when I was just moved out, started this job, and it was at a dealership, and I was a porter, and
Mhm.
she was working on
Were
a car.
a what?
Huh?
You were a what?
A porter.
Porter, they move the cars.
Yeah.
I work for dealerships,
Oh,
but I
okay.
work in the
Okay.
accounting office.
I I I
But I
I,
know that.
I missed that.
Yeah.
I thought he said he was a pauper. Man.
But I was a porter. I moved the cars around, and she was working on her little rabbit, which is a Volkswagen, something
Whoa,
like
whoa.
that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's thanks for clarifying that.
And
Because all I heard was rabbit.
That's all it said.
Uh,
so she was asking me because I worked on cars back in high school. I was in the auto shop. I was the second to best person in the school. And she goes, "Well, hey, I'm trying to do this suspension, which is what I was known for back in my high school, and I can't seem to get it lined up perfectly." I was like, "Okay, well, you know."
Round one. Lady, go!
you were known for suspension, jacking it up, huh? In
Oh
your
yeah.
high school.
Well, not jacking
He
the
was known
car
for
up. But
Oh,
anyway,
yeah. You need to specify that because you were saying you were known for jacking it up.
I was known
Round
for this.
one. Lady, go!
I love the soundboard. Uh, so she asked me if I can come over. I'm like, yeah. She had a boyfriend, so I come over and I start helping her with the suspension. I'm just doing it because I'm a nice guy. And she goes, well, I don't have any money because she just put like $1,000 just for the front end suspension, and I'm underneath her doing it. Her boyfriend works at that dealership as a mechanic, and apparently he couldn't get it to line up. So I came over and did it, and
Why
I'm
your story sounds like "Love Don't Cost a Thing" with Nick Cannon and his and Christina Milian.
so a couple months later, her and her boyfriend break up. I'm over there working on the car. She goes, I still don't have any payment for you. I said, when you sell this car, I said, just give me a quarter of it. That's all I want. I said, you're not gonna say that here in a second, bitch. She goes, well, she goes, how about I pay you in another way?
Is that a fantasy?
I wish, because that sounds amazing. And I'm sitting there like, I'm like, other way, and I'm dumb. Like I didn't process as it like, ooh, fantasy. I processed it as what other ways there to pay me? I want cash. And the next thing I know, she invites me into the house. She was cooking dinner while I was working on the car. And then I come in to go get dinner. She's just butt ass naked. And I ended up doing it. And I'm like, all
See?
right.
It wasn't fantasy. True.
I did
It's
it.
something
I walked
harder.
out of there. She sold the car. I didn't get any payment. I only did her once, and that was it.
You did not get anything. Touch me.
No, I didn't get any cash from when she sold that car. She sold that car.
Thought she was. She thought she was worth a whole one night stand for that.
Apparently, because by the time she sold the car was sold for $3 grand. So I was hoping to at least get a $750 out of it, and I didn't even get that. I'm like, I told,
Well, she was an expensive. She was an expensive hookup. Then.
that's what I told
Spoiler
that.
alert.
I
Oh,
remember when she sold the car, I was like, oh, where's my money? She goes, that thing we did was your payment, and I'm like, that
well,
was
you
only
owe me
30.
about 10 more.
I was
You owe
like,
me about 100 more.
that was only like 30 minutes. She goes,
Oh man,
yeah. I'm like,
Dang.
I think you got taken advantage of.
well, I mean, don't get me wrong, I still got pictures of stuff, so I guess that's fine.
Is you worth
Man,
more?
you sell yourself.
Oh shit!
You sell yourself. You sell yourself so cheap. I might think you were a $2 hooker.
Hell, at that point, I guess I was. I
You're
fixed
not
the whole.
even.
I
You
fixed the
weren't
whole
even.
front end suspension, which is like at least
You weren't
seven
even.
fifty worth of work, and it was
You weren't.
one
You, were,
one
you weren't
time.
even like the Chinese ones.
It
The
was a
Chinese
one
ones
night
at least
stand with some
we love
pictures afterwards for
dollars. We
like a
love you
month.
long time.
So
Oh,
Yeah.
that.
you'll be
No.
better prepared next time that happens.
Oh yeah, I don't work on Craigslist
Get the
cash or
cash up front.
yeah.
Get the cash up front. If she wants to do you later, that's just the tip. That's your tip.
Work
Give
out.
me
Work
half
out
the
the tip
payment
later.
before I work on it, and then if you don't have half the payment when I'm done, then you can do whatever.
Yep. Get the tip in.
I had a girl when I was down here. Her car's power steering was out, and
I hope you had a girl while you were down there. Shit.
uh, well, her power steering was out. So I went and looked at it, and I opened her oil cap right, and I look in it, and it's like a milkshake brown, like really light version. And a
Ooh.
master mechanic that lived upstairs, I went, "Hey, can you come look at this and tell me if this is supposed to be right?" He goes, he looks at it, he goes, "What year is this?" I said, "It's a 2015 Acadia." He goes,
Yeah.
"Her
Change
head."
the oil in like ever.
He goes, "That's a head gasket, Alex." I was like, "I thought so." He goes, "But the power steering's out." I said, "Yeah, but look at that line." He goes, "Woo." He goes, Please tell me you're getting paid. I said, oh, I'm getting paid. It's just not in money. Literally, I fixed the power steering problem. She came up to my apartment and I got paid.
Oh, I wonder if that works for. I wonder if that works for everything.
I don't think so. If they work out of their apartment, maybe. If they work out of the driving, you might get away with it. I mean,
I
In
bet
other
it work.
words,
I bet it
ladies,
works for like taking the trash out and things like that. Right?
in other words, ladies and gentlemen, I got to say this one. If you want your car fixed, go see my man Alex. Yo, you can work out a trade. It's easy. It doesn't have to be cash, but it might be something else. I'm
You
not
have the
saying
easy
anything.
payment plan.
Plan B is not
What
is
I'm saying is,
not in the
what I'm saying
offer.
is plan B is not in the offer, but plan A, D, C, and B and J.
Too funny.
We
Oh
just made
yeah.
me seem like I'm a fucking hooker.
I did not make you say
We're
nobody
pissing
said
you
you
off
were a hooker.
now. We're pissing you off.
Nobody nobody said you were a hooker, man. Nobody said you were a hooker.
You're
We
just a
just said you're
soft-hearted guy that wants to get a little
yes.
action for his actions.
And you know what I'm saying? You do what you do. We're not
You're a good
I'm
Samaritan. You should be rewarded. You're a good Samaritan, and you should be rewarded.
right. You're a good Samaritan.
oh,
Should
Nothing
be
wrong with that.
rewarded.
what's funny is I haven't had a person come ask me for work to be called. My buddy's had me work on his truck and he's paid me in beer. I'm like, that works.
But he paid
Yeah,
you
you
in
probably don't.
I ain't doing
paid
anything
him
else.
He's
Beer's
asking you.
fine.
He's
your buddy
asking you to
paid
come in
you.
later. Be a little careful.
Hey, look, man.
Cook you
He
dinner,
went
and the
from
next thing you know,
no. He went from level 8 to the stories, and then telling me your buddy paid him in beer to a level 2 now. You just lost levels on that one.
And
Like,
I mean, that's
no.
probably what the women see in me anyway. They see me at this level at first, and then they start talking to me. And they go, "Oh, no, never mind, bye."
Never sell yourself that short, man.
you know what?
It's all
Man, it that's the thing of it is sometimes we meet people, we see people, we don't like necessarily definitely see a connection right away.
Uh-huh.
But once we start talking to people, we get to know people, then you find out if they're really your people. If we're just only looking at someone and seeing their physical attributes or whatever, that's not a fair judgment. And I know young people are do it. That's really they don't know enough yet. But I'm just saying, it's like when you really get to know somebody, and it really truly makes a difference.
Yeah. We,
You're
yeah,
not getting around.
we're
It's not. I don't see. That's those shallow people that are insecure, and they can't even handle the thought of that situation. That's their problem, not yours. You're better off without them. Believe me.
yeah. Well,
no.
the
I can say this though. It's like if if you have a problem with a man being a father to his child, um, and he's co-parenting, then you're not uh, you don't know yourself as a, because you should be applauding the fact that a man is actually willing to step up and take care of his child, not dismiss him because he's taking care of his child and co-parenting, like you said, B.
so Peaches just put in thank you. You don't know how many times I've been in or would talk to a person trying to get into a relationship with, and they go, Alex, I've had the same problem. I immediately start saying I have good connection with my baby mama, and we talk, we communicate really well. We do hang out for family events when it comes to Christmas and birthdays, and that's always the immediate stoppage of any talking or any relationship I'm get into because they don't understand that I'm trying to be a good father for my kid.
Oh, I mean that's you know, a hundred
What's the
percent of the
fun? I
time
mean,
it's like
yeah,
you
yeah.
just you just got to keep things civil. I mean, it's not. I could
I
attest for that because like
both
I've been through
exes.
some. You have
Both
you have
my
what?
exes. I talk.
Both of
I
your
still
exes?
talk to both my exes. I don't have. There's never been any animosity. It just it just can't be. We're gonna and I have kids with both of them. So
I
yeah.
look at it. I look at it this way. It's like I have a child's mother, and like when when we were going through stuff, I was like, at first, I was heartbroken, but I was also angry. I was upset about, the fact that my daughter, um, I couldn't see my daughter. I was upset about a lot of things. I was going through the court system. And I mean, at first, I was really angry. Like, I wanted to destroy her. But what I realized was, look, it's not about her, it's about that child. Um,
Yep.
and I think the reality set in where I was like, look, I'm a father now. Um, my duties have changed. I'm not a one man band. Now I got to be the father. I got to be the protector. I got to be, the lover to her. I got to love her. And the worst thing for me to do, being a person that's supposed to protect, is to say, I want to hurt your
I'll
mom,
be right back.
or
I'm
I
gonna
don't
put
really
you on
like
Yeah.
hold.
your mom, or I want to disrespect your mom. Those are the things that I was like, I was battling internally with. So
Mhm.
like it got to that point where you're like, okay, I need to actually tell her I'm sorry. I need to actually apologize, and I need to actually move on and start doing
Apologize
the things
to
that I'm supposed to
Willow I'm sorry. Apologize to whom?
do, you know. So like you really start doing things like you. I think
Yeah.
people
Sorry.
around
Children come first.
the have to grow, and I don't think a lot of people understand the those factors that some people battle things and take things in differently than other people
Right.
do.
No,
You
and
know,
it's partly insecurity. Don't you think?
yeah, and it's a lot of insecurities. I think a lot for a lot of men, if you are taking care of your child and you are going to be in a
Women too,
relationship,
though. There's a man's got to be around his ex. They don't like, oh,
but
that, they,
when you're talking about those type of relationships, kid outside and you're dating, it's I think the insecurity measure does play a part, but you have to be secure in the relationship that you start. And going in, you need to know, first of all, that person needs to let the other party knows that, look, I do have a relationship with my child's mother or my child's father. Um, this is where it is, and this is where it stops at. You know, and then that person, whoever that person is, male or female, should then decide then if they want to pursue a relationship with that person instead of dragging it on and letting that fester, and then it's like, oh, that's a problem because you're you're either picking up your child or dropping off your child at his or her house. If that's an issue, then shouldn't date a man or a woman that has kids outside of a um when I say outside of that dynamic relationship,
All
because
right.
it's hard
Well, and then I
to
got a question for the both of you. So, there was one specific person I was talking to.
you like each other enough to have sex. Let's just find a way to make it work, right? Even if
Oh
you
yeah,
don't stay together. No, it's tough.
it's funny. I've had multiple people come up to me in stereo that go, "Hey, I'm going through this with my." Or the one story I remember was, "I'm going through this situation with my ex, and I'm trying to remember this bit by bit." And he goes, "Me and my ex are expecting a child." I was like, "Oh, well, congratulations." I said, "Is this your first?" He goes, "Yeah." "I'm 19." I was like, "When's the baby due?" He goes, "In a couple months." I said, "Okay." He goes, "I know I'm too young." I said, "Brother, no disrespect." "There's no judgment, nothing." He goes, "But I don't
Hmm.
know what to do." He goes, "I don't know if this is because of the pregnancy hormones or if this is the way she is." I said, "The pregnancy hormones," I said, "from what I've experienced, it puts you through a whole nother level." I said, "Because they don't know I said, they don't know that they're doing it until last second. Then they know that they think, then they start thinking that you hate them. I said, so it becomes a butterfly effect. And and this might not be for all women. I said, I know that. I was like, I know everyone has their difference in pregnancies. I said, but from what
Right.
I've experienced, from what I've heard, that's a common thing to where they get mad about the little stuff that they know they shouldn't be. It's like, oh, you didn't take out the trash this morning. What the hell? And they blow up on you. I said, that
Well, they
happens.
can't. Sometimes you can't control the hormones are like one of those
No, I told
crazy
them that. I
things.
said, you cannot. I said, when it's all over and done, I said, she's going to feel bad. She's going to think, I said, what you need to worry about, I said, don't let this bother you. I said, it's gonna. Don't let this bother you. I said, learn from my mistakes. After, I said, after that baby was born, I said, she's going to realize that all of them, all this stuff that she said to you throughout the pregnancy, she's going to realize she hurt you. I said, but if you don't respond back, that makes her think you're mad. I said, he goes, but I don't know what to say. I'm afraid to upset her. I said, yeah. I said, that happens. I said, the only thing you can really do is be there. No matter if she's mad
Well,
at you, if she's upset with you, you got to be there. That's what Blazin told me to do. When I
yeah.
started talking to him back on stereo,
No
and
thing. No, I'm just playing.
he told me all you can do is try to be there. And he goes, it's gonna
Yep.
feel like you can't, but that's the only thing you can. And I haven't heard from this person in forever. He's joined a couple of my stereo streams since then, and I haven't been on stereo since, which I think I need to start that up again. But
Yeah,
uh,
we haven't done that in a minute,
yeah,
and
because
now we can actually do it with multiple people.
mm-hmm. You could
Yeah,
have up to like what 12, 15 people in that app now.
something like that. I think
But
it's like
Mm.
12,
the last thing I
13.
heard was he had the baby. He had the baby. They were doing good, which I was happy for him. I said, "Dude, congrats."
Oh, yeah.
I said,
Well, but she wasn't as young. Are they? Were they still together? Then they
yeah,
weren't
they
together.
were still together. He was worried that the relationship was ending because of the baby. I told him all you can do is sit there and
Um.
support and love her because that's all you
Yeah.
can do. I mean, there's
Yeah.
other stuff you can try to do to push into it more, but all you can do is let her sit there and yell at you because she doesn't. Not all people do this, but they don't know that they're going off for something little. You can sit there and keep telling her that you love her. I said, but don't push it. I said, you keep pushing it. If you keep saying I love you every 5 seconds, so you're gonna piss her off.
Yeah.
I said, especially when
Well,
you're
yeah.
in the delivery room. I said, when you're in the delivery room, shut up and say yes, ma'am. Don't say anything else.
No, that's what.
I was 19 when I had my daughter, so I totally get that. I married my high school sweetheart, so yeah.
So
You know,
what you're
in the
saying is
beginning of my 90s, what? Go ahead.
you had the coins, huh?
Had the coin.
You said you were
What?
19. I said you said you had the coins. You know what I'm saying? Meaning you had that good. You had the coins at 19.
He was the only one I ever dated, so I guess yeah. So I ended up marrying the guy, and you know what your virginity, what happens, right? But it didn't work out, which is okay. We weren't on the same. It's actually, I consider that my young and dumb period because at that point you just, you look at 18 and 19-year-old now and you think, oh God, they're stupid.
And I'll look at myself and I go, damn, I'm still young and dumb.
Oh, no, no, seriously. I just sometimes you just what to do. You just don't know. It's like I look at pictures and holding my daughter and I got home from the hospital and I'm like, God, I look young there. And I was.
I looked at the pictures from when my son was born 4 years ago, and I went, man, I looked like I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I was like, man, oh
And we
my.
don't. We just, yeah.
If I could go back in time and tell myself one thing to expect from having a child, would be literally trying to convince myself that you won't have sleep and the couple days after you have the baby and you go to work, any sound you hear sounds like a baby cry. Because that's all I heard for like the first week back at work. Any squeak or like something moving was just a baby cry to me, and I started freaking out like, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I did that, and people thought I was crazy, and I'm like, I was around a baby for 3.5 days before I came back to work. I didn't um, get the couple months off from my work. I was able to have the rest of the week off, but she goes, "We come make money. We need it." I was like, "I understand. I'll
I
go."
most people can't afford to be off work.
Oh no. She and when she told me I was like my boss told me to get the rest. She goes, "You're going back to work." I was like, "But why?" I said, "You need help with the pay." She goes, "Because you're the only breadwinner right now." I was like, "Okay, I'm going."
Thank you.
So I went back to work, but the first 2 days I was back, every sound I heard was a baby crying. And I remember my boss that I called at 3 in the morning. I called him back. I called him at 3 in the morning, telling him I was going to the hospital. He goes, or he saw me walk past, and there was a sound that was like a little whine. And I looked around, was looking for a baby. He comes up to me, grabs my shoulder. He goes, "The baby's not here. The baby's not here. Baby's not here. Baby's not here." And I went, "Okay, okay, okay." He goes, "How long am I gonna have to do this for?" I said, "Till Friday. It's Thursday. One more day." He goes, "Okay, that's good." He was so mad that I called him at 3 o'clock. He wasn't mad, but he was like, "Motherfucker, you woke me up at
You
3 o'clock."
you could have called me in the morning, right?
Well,
Yeah.
it was it. So I worked there for four. The place I'm still working at. I was there only for, let's see,
5 years? No, I'm just playing.
I was there for 6 months. 6 months is how long I
Mm-hmm.
was there.
Listen, guys.
So I was trying to be, a golden boy. Make sure I called him right when I was on the way to the hospital. "Hey, I'm going to the hospital. I have a kid." From like when I had to take my ex to the hospital for a kidney stone.
Ooh.
She couldn't
Yeah.
keep anything down, and at like 9 o'clock in the morning, she goes, like, or 9 o'clock at night, I'm just falling asleep in the bed, and she goes, "Babe, babe, what? You got to take me to the
Can't take it
hospital."
anymore.
Yep. So I was like, "All right, come on, I'll take you to the hospital." So I drive down to the hospital, which is like 35, 40 minute drive.
Ooh.
Get to the hospital. End up sitting in the waiting room from 10:30, maybe 11 o'clock at night until 4 in the morning before she got to bed. Went and got to bed. Which is what's funny is we were before we went to the hospital. We were technically separated. We were talking about separating.
Mm.
And so we go into the office where they take the vitals and they ask, they're like, "Who's this?" "Oh, your boyfriend." And I'm sitting there like half asleep. She goes, "Boyfriend." I go, "What? Huh?" I said, "You just called me your boyfriend?" She goes, "Yeah, because you are." I was like, literally 30 minutes ago, you told me you wanted a break. Now you're saying you want me back? Okay.
That's
Somebody had to drive to the hospital.
So we
yeah,
go back
that's because
into,
you
yeah, I know it was just because I was taking her to the hospital. So we go back to the room. We sit
They
there.
may not let you in.
So we sit there. She's sitting there throwing up. I'm sitting there trying to get some sleep so I can at least attempt to make it to work. And it's like
right.
6:30, 7 o'clock, or it's like 6:30 in the morning. I still got to drive 35 minutes to work. So I called uh, the person that I work with, which I call him my boss, even though he's not paid like my boss and he doesn't act like a boss. I called him and said, "Hey, dude," I said, "I'm just getting home from the emergency room." He goes, "What happened? You okay? Do you need me to show up? I'll come get you and take you home." I'm like, "No." I said, "My girlfriend had to go to the hospital. She had a big kidney stone." I said, "I'm just now about to be home." I said, "What do you want me to do? You want me to come in?" He goes, "How many hours of sleep do you have?" I said, "An hour." He goes, yeah, no, stay home." He goes, "Call John." I said,
Mm.
"Okay." So I called my boss. I said, "Hey, boss." I said, "I'm just now getting home from the hospital. So what do you want me to do?" He goes, how many hours of sleep have you had? One. Yeah, don't come in. I said, do you need to know what I need for HR? He goes, I don't know. He goes, go to sleep, wake up, call HR. So I go to sleep about 11 noon. I wake up, I call HR. Hey, my name's so and so. I work at this company. Okay, what's up? What's up? I said I meant to call y'all when y'all open, but I said I just got home. I said I got home at like 6:30 in the morning from the hospital. I said I talked to John and I talked to. I said I talked to John. I said what do you? I said what do you need from me to that way I don't get a write up? They said no problem. Don't worry about the late call. John called in for you saying that you weren't showing up and you were probably asleep. I was like, yes, thank you, boss. They
Thought you
go,
said he
all we
wasn't
need,
your boss.
huh?
Thought you said he wasn't your boss.
No, this was actual my boss. There's the person I work with that
Okay.
technically is a boss, but it's not my boss. And then there's my boss. Uh, I was like, yes. I said, what do you need from me so I can get approved for this day off? I said that way I'm not getting rid of. We hold on, sorry. Oh,
What,
okay.
you missed something?
No, that somebody
Uh-huh.
named Illich membership best viewers on streamboo.com. Remove the spaces at UVR. It's somebody that wants me to go to a different stream and subscribe to them.
Oh, I was like, what?
Sorry, I just saw that first. It said first time chat, first time in chat. So I was like, hold on, let me look.
No, it's all good. Shit.
Well, thank you for joining. I do appreciate it. I highly doubt you're still here though. So I sent them the doctor's note. Went back to sleep. Didn't wake up until 7 at night. Looked at her. We got into an argument about something else, and then a week and a half later, we ended up breaking up. But that was that was one of the longest weeks I've had.
Mhm. Okay.
Ah, my bad. I'm over here having too much fun
Hey,
listening to you.
hey, I'm drinking, so
I'm dropping the effects. So
I have my cup too. My cup too.
uh,
See, where's your cup? You don't got no cup there?
no.
No
I
cup there?
no. What I need to do though is go to that website Blazing told me and give me a cup with the logo on it.
I got.
Mhm.
Oh, I mean the yeah. I'm gonna actually that's coming. I haven't put it on there yet, but I will get that logo on there with the shirts and
I told Ty that you did that, and he goes, "Bro, we're not even big yet." I said, "I know. Blazing's already 2 steps ahead. He's
That's how he
prepared."
thinks.
everything.
He
Dude,
always thinks 2 steps ahead.
I'm literally like uh I'm the guy that you'd be like, okay, yeah, let's do this. All right, cool, let's do it. And then you'd be like, this dude already got a mic, got soundboard, got this, got that. Like, wait, hold on, what the hell did? How much did you pay for all that? I got it
Don't
on the
worry.
low low, man.
Don't worry
Got it
about
on the low low. I got the hookup. You know what I'm saying? You just got to know people. You know what I'm saying? That's why you keep your Mexican friends. Your Mexican friends, your black friends, you got your white friends. You know what I'm saying? I got all of them. I got my
What if they have
Somalian friends.
Mexican names of their wife?
What?
What if
What'd
they
you
have
say?
Mexican names of their wife?
Hey, shoot. It's all good, man. Shoot.
I've had a
The thing
boss
is,
call me Alejandro for 2.5 years because we had three
Alejandro?
Alexes. Yeah, well, we had three Alexes that worked at the same Kroger, so they called me Alejandro. They called the Alex that worked in the stock or that put up stock just Alex, and then the one that was a bagger like me, they called them Alex, whatever his last name was. And so I was Alejandro. So anytime I would hear Alejandro come to the front desk, I'd run up to the
Something
front
you would
desk.
get.
That was my name, Alejandro.
Was there any Consuelos there?
No, there was no Mexican last names. They were all Arabic or Catalan.
What? Okay. It's checking.
Oh my god. Yo,
I'm
shame,
sorry.
man.
I'm just, mm,
As
gotta
it
have
says in the logo, the shit you cannot say.